I'm live. Okay, hold on. This is my second attempt at doing this, and I wonder if I should do it this way or oh. Okay, so I guess the only way that I could do it is this way. So I attempted to do this live video on my laptop, but apparently the little shit is not working. So we're gonna sit it right here. Maybe we'll see how this goes. Okay, perfect. So I just kind of wanted to get on here and make a little video about kind of like what's going on with my YouTube channel, what's going on with me and my personal life, and like just kind of like what's been going on basically. So right now, my channel has been a hot mess. I have been trying to shift gears on what I wanted to do because I was having some self identity problems or self issues within myself, and with disordered eating and kind of like reverting back to old eating habits and like bad eating habits that aren't technically vegan. Um, and stuff like that. And I guess it was just the nervousness of being shamed by the vegan community because I realized that Twitter vegans and Instagram vegans and vegans on the internet can be really, really shitty to people who are going through things or who are, possibly struggling with certain things. And you get shamed, you get ridiculed, you get essentially shunned. And I kind of like stepped away from vegan Twitter and Instagram, like vegan social media, and like creating vegan content on my channel because I was struggling with things in myself and eating and all of that nonsense. And I started live streaming on my YouTube channel, like video games and stuff like that, which I am still going to be doing, but I'm going to put that on Twitch instead. So whenever I figure out this whole Twitch shenanigan, I'm going to go ahead and start uploading my live streams for my video games on my Twitch channel or Twitch page, Twitch channel, whatever. Okay, so I kind of just wanted to come on here to say a couple things. I don't really know how to start this. I always get on camera and I'm just like, who even am I? Look at my dog. He's going to ruin this. Please go back, please, sir. He's like so obsessed with me. If I'm talking, literally, he just wants to be in my way all the time. This video is going to be a fail, I can tell already. Sir, please move. Anyways, so like I was saying, I was having some issues with, disordered eating and reverting back to certain products which are animal derived. And it's not something I'm like proud of. And it's kind of sucky that it's in the same time where all these vegans aren't vegan anymore and they're pretty much like debunking the vegan diet and things like that. And stuff like that really annoys me. And I'll get on that subject later, but I want to kind of like talk about myself first, and then I want to get on to how this ties into what I'm talking about. Um, I switched over to a vegan diet like overnight. I watched a couple videos. I watched like some of Freely the Banana Girl stuff, that vegan couples videos. I started watching I watched Forks Over Knives and I watched Cowspiracy all in one day. I spent the entire day watching those videos, and then I went to the Asian market. I bought a pack of 18 mangoes or 2 boxes of 18 mangoes, and I went on a mango fast for like 3 days, and then I was like vegan. And I hadn't eaten meat in like almost 3 years after that. So I didn't do it the right way, and I realized that I was doing this based off of what I was just watching on YouTube, which is, good. It's influential. It's, vegan influencers who are spreading a positive message about veganism, and I'm not blaming, the vegan YouTube community for the decisions that I've made. It's all based on myself. And I want to put the message out there to people who are vegan and who are struggling with being vegan because they have a history of disordered eating. I want people to know that if you happen to go back and slip into bad habits and things like that, it's not your fault. And don't let the internet or Twitter vegans make you feel like you were never vegan from the jump because you do suffer from disordered eating. In the same breath, I'm not going to say that is the reason like these other vegan YouTubers are no longer vegan anymore. I completely disagree with what they were doing. Although it may have been disordered eating, these people have built an entire empire and they've sold things. They have sustained a lifestyle off of the backs of these people who they have been so impressionable to, if that makes any sense. I don't think that's right. I think if you have a disorder or an eating disorder, or if you have some sort of like disordered eating, I don't think you should be publicly selling things and promoting a lifestyle which you truly don't live or you truly don't follow. I think that's really phony and I think it's fake and I think it's should be illegal actually. It's kind of like I read this one book, I think it was called like the Raw Bible, the Raw Diet Bible or something, which the book ended up being a joke. And it kind of makes a lot of sense, or it kind of reminds me of what these YouTube vegans have been doing. There was like a little section in the book that said something about a doctor who went to this vegan retreat, was promoting veganism, and was talking about a high raw alkaline lifestyle. And then he was caught in the back room snorting coke and eating burgers from McDonald's. And I just thought that was really interesting how, it reminds me a lot of these vegan YouTubers who are no longer vegan anymore. So, that I completely disagree with. But what I kind of wanted to touch and get into the topic of disordered eating and things like that, and people who, like I said, feel guilty about going back to old habits, or they feel like they failed the vegan community because of what people on Twitter had to say about them. And it builds anxiety and makes you feel kind of like scared or anxious to say like, hey, I have this sort of eating disorder and I couldn't help myself and I just went for it. And for people who have not experienced that before in their lives, they wouldn't understand how overcoming that feeling to binge eat or not eat at all, how it feels to actually have an eating disorder. They wouldn't really know how to handle that. So instead, I see a lot of YouTube or Twitter vegans saying like, "Oh, you went back and ate cheese, like you're not even vegan. You were never vegan from the get-go, blah blah blah." And it's like I think that's bull because in your heart people know, in your heart what your intentions are. And if there is a disorder, you have some sort of disordered eating, you suffer from a disordered type of eating, it's hard to go through every day trying to be compassionate to other lives when you can't be compassionate to yourself. And I think that's the issue that I've suffered and a lot of people do suffer when it comes to veganism and disordered eating because yeah, being vegan is awesome. It's great. I loved it. It was amazing. And I still consider myself vegan because, busy saving the animals. But at the same time, I have to take care of myself. And I know if I don't take care of myself, there may not be a self. And what use am I if I'm not here to be able to promote a healthy, sustainable lifestyle for people? So with all that being said, I know this is like a rambly mumbo jumbo, which is why I did a live video. Um, I think if you are suffering from disordered eating, myself included, I think you really should take care of yourself first. Go through the motions. If you feel like you need to eat the cheese, and I know it sounds shitty saying it, but coming from someone who suffers from disordered eating to where like ideas of bad things could possibly happen or like you think bad things will happen if you don't do certain things, like there's a certain thought process with people who have disordered brains. Essentially the thought process isn't a plus b is c or 1 plus 1 is 2. It's xyz and jkl and semicolons and all just rambo mumbo jumbo, and it's an overwhelming feeling sometimes. So sometimes you do have to go with the motions in order for things to work out in the way it does. Not saying like, go get Domino's pizza and like eat all the cheese and stuff like that in the world, but if there is something internally that you have to deal with first before you can become the person who you want to be, go through the motions with it. Don't just go vegan overnight because everyone is doing it and because it sounds cool and fun and things like that, because it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. It may not happen, 2 days from now. If for me personally, it happened 2.5 years when I went vegan. It was almost 3 years, when I kind of started slipping into bad habits because I was using veganism as like a mask to kind of like say, okay, I am vegan now. I can't binge eat anymore. Binge eating is no longer my thing. I can't do that because I am vegan. And if I want to binge eat, I'm just going to binge eat on fruit. And I was just putting this mask on my face to like make it seem like that wasn't my issue anymore. I wasn't facing the problem that I had right there. I was putting a mask on and going about the day and promoting veganism, and internally I was screaming and struggling inside to figure out why and how and the source of this disordered eating. So basically all I'm saying is, if you do suffer from an eating disorder or disordered eating or anything like that, or if you have like anxiety when it comes to food and things like that, you really should find the core of what that source is, what that issue is. Going vegan is not going to change the fact that you have disordered eating. And I have realized that, and I cannot stress that enough. Going vegan is not going to cure or help your eating disorder. You are the one who helps and cure your eating disorder. If you need to go to counseling or therapy and things like that, yes, veganism is an aid to assist you with overcoming that disorder, but it's not going to help or cure your eating disorder. I don't care what people say on the internet about, oh yeah, veganism stopped me from drinking, it cured my eating disorder, and it's this and that. Like, it doesn't. It won't. It'll seem like it, and for as long as you are strong enough to think that it is, it won't. And you have to realize that, because the disorder came from within. It came from way before you were vegan, and it'll be here way after you are vegan. And you have to understand that if you don't come to terms with it when it is present, you're never going to get over it. You're never going to jump that hurdle. You're going to keep running into it, backing up, and running into it and backing up, and you're never going to get over it. You have to come to terms with it so you can step over that hurdle and you can move on. And I personally just think that veganism is a really bad way to advertise, or a bad way to show people or tell people that this is a way that you can get over your eating disorder, because it's not. It is absolutely not. And I will disagree with anyone who says that it is, because me personally, I'm really just personally, and also from other people's stories who have told me, and YouTubers who I've watched. There's so many influencers who I watched years ago who helped me go vegan, and they aren't vegan anymore. And these are the same YouTubers who said like, yeah, going vegan helped me with my eating disorder. It did this and it did that. And, coming to find out that these people still suffer from these eating disorders. So it really had nothing to do with veganism. You have to overcome your issues within yourself before you can put something else first. And there's a lot of people who say like, oh, I'm vegan because I care about the animals and I don't care about myself. That is a terrible, terrible way to say something about veganism. Like, what do you mean you care more about the animals than you do yourself? Like, if you aren't there, if yourself is not there, there's nobody who is going to be there to care for the animals. You can't say that like you care about the animals more than you do yourself. It just, you have to put yourself first, because if you are compassionate within yourself, that compassion just bursts out and it comes out. It's so not compassionate if you do not care about yourself. Self-care starts first, and you have to care about yourself before you can care about anything or anyone else around you. So when people say that, and I see people who say like they care about the animals more than they do themselves, I say it's bullshit, for one, and I say two, they're not going to be vegan for long at all, because that's just not a healthy thought process. It's not a healthy way to think. And I want people to know that and understand that. And it's okay if you slip back into old habits, or if you have something that has animal products in it because you are suffering or dealing with a form of disordered eating. come to terms with that with yourself. Figure out, steps, go to counseling, talk to people, figure out how to get over that before you start saying that you are vegan again. And it's not wrong to go back into bad habits. And for me personally, I want you to know, ignore what people have to say if they don't know anything about disordered eating and they don't understand, you know, how that process goes and how to, get through that. And I shouldn't really say get over it. I should say get through it, because really it's something that you go through. You don't just get over eating disorders. You have to get through that shit. Like it's a battle, okay? And I want people to know and to realize that if you happen to go into bad habits, it is okay. And I would much rather people go back into bad habits, relearn, and then reteach, and then start over again, rather than struggle with trying to be vegan every single day because of the stigma of the internet, and because they think that if I do this, I'm going to be this person, and if I don't do this, I'm not going to be this person, and if I don't promote veganism, even though I don't feel like I'm vegan, I'm a fake vegan or I'm a bad vegan. All of that is just it. That's what really annoys me about the internet and internet vegans and things like that, because all in actuality, if y'all don't live in like a remote area and you're not self-sustainable, you technically aren't vegan. If you take pharmaceutical medications, you aren't vegan. If you live in a town, or you go to Walmart, you're not vegan. Like there's so many ways and things that make you not vegan. So going back and, if you have to eat the animal products in order to realize that there is an eating disorder and you might need to, have some help about it. If that's what people say that doesn't make you vegan, they're not vegan. So, forget them. They're not vegan. A vegan who judges another vegan isn't vegan because it's not compassionate. That's my thing. So people just need to chill out. If you suffer from disordered eating, for me personally, it's going to be okay. If you need to speak to me, talk to me. We can talk about it. I'm here for you. And I just wanted people to know, and me personally, for myself to know too, that it's okay and it's going to be okay. And just because you do have some form of disorder, and you know, you think that just because other people on the internet say that you aren't something, don't believe what they have to say, because you are something. You're very important. And every day that you make it through completely plant-based is something to be proud of. Even if you're vegan for 3 days and you have cheese on something another day, those 3 days that you ate completely plant-based, you need to pat yourself on the back and say thank you. I'm grateful that I was able to do this, and I want to continue to do more. And realize that it's going to be okay, and don't give a shit what people have to say, because they're judgmental and they don't know you personally. They don't know you, they don't know your struggle, and it will be okay. So I just want to sit on here for a minute, and I thought it was going to be a much shorter video, but we're going on 18 minutes. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon in another video, hopefully with better editing. But until I can get my computer and iMovie all situated in my hard drive, it's going to be live videos until things get fixed. So I hope you guys